Hello, and welcome to our student panel discussion featuring some of our student leaders in the College of Liberal Arts. My name is Dr. Scott Brown, and like all of you watching, I am also new to the university, and I am just as excited to hear our students speak and share their perspective. So let's meet our amazing students. Panelists, could you please tell us your name, your hometown, year in school, major, and student organizations that you're involved with? And maybe Kylie, we can kick it off with you first.
All right, thank you. Hi, welcome to UT. I'm Kylie. I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm a rising junior. I'm a double major in linguistics, international relations and global studies with a minor in religious studies. And I'm involved with Texas Phanos, which is a leadership organization in COLA, and I am the co-founder of a small spirit group on UT called the Texas Ice Beauties, and we support the hockey team here at UT.
Awesome. Yeah. Viveka?
Hi, everyone. Great to have you here. My name is Devika. I am from Austin. I actually went to high school here. I'm a rising senior. I am a psychology major with a minor in government. And two of the organizations I'm affiliated with here is Phanos with with Kylie, and as well as Omega Phi Alpha, which is a service sorority here on campus as well.
Hi, y'all. My name is Cameron. I am from the DFW area. I'm actually in a suburb close to Fort Worth. I'm a rising sophomore, so I'm not too far from most of y'all who are watching this. And I am majoring in international relations, Chinese, and in Asian studies. As far as my student organizations go, I'm in liberal arts honors. I'm also a Dedman Scholar. I'm the vice president of our college's liberal arts council. So I represent the students to the deans. I encourage you all to join that. And I'm also affiliated with some smaller international relations orgs on campus.
Great. Well, thank you all for providing a little bit of background on yourselves, and thank you for sharing. So are you ready to get to the panel discussion? All right, let's do this. So I'm sure our new students are feeling a wide range of emotions as they begin this fall semester. Reflecting back on your experience, what or how were you feeling leading up to the start of your first semester? And was there anything in particular that helped you adjust to college life? Devika, would you like to take this question first?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So one thing that was unique about my experience here as a first semester student was that I was actually a CAP student. So I know what it's like to be, first semester at a place, but also be a transfer at the same time. And I think that UT did a really good job of not making me feel like I was a transfer here and not making me feel like, I didn't belong or anything like that. I remember the first few days, there would be it seemed like hundreds of tables on Speedway that you could just approach and really just become a part of anything with open invites in the evenings to people just walking up to you and saying, hey, we'd like to see you here later today. And so I think that was an amazing way for me to get involved and make more friends.
Great. Cameron?
I know I was very excited coming to UT. I was very much planning out every moment to get here. I was ready to get out of my hometown. I was ready to get away from my parents. So I imagine many of you are the same way. I know what really helped me when I got to campus is that I immediately tried to get involved with orgs. I went to all the org fairs that were possible. I went recruiting for all kinds of groups. And I guess, what I ended up landing on was Liberal Arts Council. And without plugging my org too much, it was a really great way for me to get connected with the college, get connected with people with shared interests, and also be able to have a group of people I do service and I do work with in the college. So find an org with which you can do stuff with friends. That's probably your best way to instantly gain a group of friends.
Great. And Kylie?
I completely agree with both Devika and Cameron that initially when you're on campus, but they're probably providing you with resources now to get involved with different organizations. You know, when you were in high school, they probably called them clubs, but here at UT, we got to be special, so we call them orgs. And that is the fastest way to just find yourself a group of friends, because there's over 1,500 different orgs on campus. And so you can really find your niche there. When I came to UT, I was feeling a little bit frightened, to be honest, because during my student orientation, I managed to dislocate my ankle. Not my ankle, my knee. So I was in a brace when I first came to campus. So I was on the 40 acres, feeling scared having to walk to classes with an injury. But honestly, UT feels so welcoming. Besides the overwhelming Austin heat, I kind of fit right in once I found some orgs and started getting involved in things.
Great. Well, thank you all for your response to that question. Moving on to the next question. Now, what is one thing that you wish you had known prior to the start of your first year at UT? And Cameron, do you want to kick us off with this question?
For one thing, your advisor is your best friend. Always go to your advisor, always plan ahead. Like people really underestimate what good their advisors do for them. And I was definitely one of those people for the first few months, until I realized, like, oh wow, my advisor can actually like set up my entire college life for me. And then also make sure you go to office hours. Never underestimate the power of office hours.
Kylie?
Once again, I agree with everything Cameron just said. It's you underestimate how much your professors want you to come to office hours and ask them about their research. That's an instant way to make a friend. I wish I'd known how much everyone wanted you to succeed, like how many resources are on campus that are just geared toward helping you find out what you want to do and helping you do that. So again, I would get a lot of emails from COLA and from my advisor, and instead of just throwing them in the trash, I would actually open them. I would look at them and see what they were, and I found a lot of cool workshops that I wound up going to my freshman year. One of them was called Longhorns for a Culturally Competent Campus, and it was run by our Housing and Dining at Campus Climate team. And basically, for about an entire semester, we sat down and we learned different ways to listen to each other and understand our differences. And instead of looking for commonalities, we specifically looked for our differences and how those differences made our groups stronger instead of weaker or having us fight. It was really cool. So I think read your emails, go to office hours.
Great. And Viveka?
Yeah, I agree with, you know, both of the previous things. One additional thing that I will add to that is I wish I had known how much every single lecture counts, how much, you know, it counts to establish that first, you know, month, because it seems like, and I've experienced this every semester, I'm a senior now, where it seems like, you know, the first month of school is a little bit slower, and then everything just starts to pick up towards the end of the semester, and you're hit with all these deadlines and midterms and finals. You will be 100% better off if you set yourself up and start doing everything early. Do it during that kind of 1 month lay period, and that way, you know, you won't find yourself struggling and not sleeping and, you know, things that just horror stories that you hear. Believe me, it's in your hands. It's not a required thing to, like, you know, go through that.
Yeah, and it's just to emphasize everything that you had all said. You know, we all truly care about student success, and that goes from our staff in the college to our faculty. You know, and one thing, you know, Kylie, you had mentioned, is talking to faculty about research, and sometimes that could even be scary for students. It's like, well, how do I even broach the subject, right? And you know, we have a team of advisors, whether that's academic advisors or student support staff, or even career services advisors who can really work with students and coach you all through that process. So it's just, like I said, yeah, building those relationships and connections with staff, and certainly with our faculty.
I have one more quick idea.
Yes.
Make sure you sign up for departmental newsletters. They're full of opportunities, org scholarships, and internships. And then also make sure you go to info sessions. I maybe went to about 20. They're a nuisance. They sometimes go long. They are worth it. You will find something interesting.
All right. Excellent plug. So moving on to our next question. Obviously, you know, this semester is unlike any other, but you had a glimpse of learning in a remote capacity last spring. So my next question is, you know, what tips do you have for this mode of learning, especially in college? Kylie, would you like to take this one first? Yeah.
Sure. I think the very first and most important thing is that if you're struggling, don't be too hard on yourself, because everyone is struggling. This is new for a great many people, and we're all kind of learning as we go. So just cut yourself some slack. It's going to be okay. And I guess after that is kind of the polar opposite of, you're going to need to practice a lot of self-discipline, because if you think it was going to be hard to wake up in your dorm and walk to your lecture, it's going to be even harder to wake yourself up to get on your computer for a lecture that you know is going to be recorded. So I really recommend, if you have like a synchronous Zoom meeting lecture that meets at a certain time, please go to it. It's the best time to ask your professor questions if you're too nervous to go to their office hours. And it's, like Davika said, you don't want to be missing those lectures, because when you rewatch the lecture and you're not actively participating in it, you're just not going to absorb as much. And I think try and schedule. Like Davika said earlier, again, it's really important to look at your syllabus, listen to what your TAs and your professors are telling you about what you're going to need to be doing throughout the whole semester. Because I think now more than ever, you can really plan what you're going to do and schedule yourself out. And that's really going to help you not stress later on and not stress right now.
Thank you. Viveka?
Yeah, I agree with everything that was just said. You know, the scheduling is one of my top recommendations, is make sure you have a schedule and you stick to it. One thing I will add to that though is that personally for me, I find it very easy to slip into procrastinating on things when I know that it's not imminent and coming up. Please don't do that, because it's very important to absorb material at the right pace. Like, there's a reason why you don't watch all 15 lectures the night before, you know, the exam. And I believe you're going to get a lot more out of your educational experience. You're going to get a lot more out of your professors and your peers, and just a lot less stress on yourself. Like, this is a stressful time for everyone. The last thing you want to do is create problems for yourself that don't have to be there. So, you know, just make sure that if there's something you have to do, don't put it off till later. Like, force yourself to do it in that moment, because once you build the habit of doing that, you'll find that it gets easier every time to just knock it out and then, you know, go binge Netflix later, but do your stuff first, you know?
Yeah, especially it seems like in a time of you know, some uncertainty that you almost have to build in to allow for things that you don't know are going, you know, that will happen. You know, in the past, it might be easy to build a schedule and stick to that in a very methodical way. But given, you know, this unusual semester, you almost have to plan for the uncertainty, even though we might not know, you know, what that might bring.
Yeah. No, if I can add to that real quick, one more thing, definitely try to do things in advance rather than the last minute. Just because, like you were saying, unexpected things can happen, and you don't want to be the person on the date of the deadline trying to see if they can get an extension 3 hours from now. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get it, and you're just going to set yourself up to be in a worse position than if you had just done it a week ago, you know?
So I have 3 big tips. So number 1 is, whenever you're on a Zoom call, there is always the temptation to minimize into the corner and to go on the internet. Take your laptop, put it like as far away from you on the desk as possible, and make sure your hands are back here. Like that is one good way to make sure you will not have your eyes wander. I put my phone in the drawer sometimes, whatever I need to do, like to get to stay focused in a class. Then next thing I'd say is like there is a temptation whenever it's on Zoom to roll out of bed, just keep my camera off and just like what I am on a Saturday morning every day. I'd say there's very much a psychological element to getting up, getting dressed, fixing your hair, shaving, whatever. You don't have to look perfect, but like prepare yourself, like look like you would do on a normal day and turn on your camera for the Zoom call. It'll make you more confident and it will make sure your teacher knows you and your professor will associate your face with you so that, you know, like whenever they're looking at your class of 20 people and when 5 people have their cameras on, you're one of the 5 people that your professor knows. And then the last thing is, and this might not be, I don't know how, this really depends on your learning style, but over this summer, I took some summer courses and I had some professors that had asynchronous classes and they were slow talkers. There are Chrome extensions that can speed up video. I had to do that, like speed up to 1.25 speed, 1.5 speed. Make sure you are not doing it so fast that you do not capture the information, but it is a good life hack if you want to get through your lectures a bit faster, if you're a good note taker. Get a Chrome extension and speed up the asynchronous video.
All right.
If I may add to Cameron's second tip, it's good to wake up, get out of bed, and get dressed for your mental health. It is also good for the professors. I definitely know back in the spring when we first transitioned to online courses, you could feel the disheartenment from the screen as the professors lectured to a blank wall of non-cameras. And sure, sometimes it's easier to just roll out of bed and be your bed self in front of not a camera, but it's good for your professors to see you, for you and for them.
If like for some reason you can't have your video on for some day, at least put a picture on your Zoom. Don't let it be like the blank gray with your name on it. At least put a picture on it.
Right. Excellent tips. So thank you all. Our last question for this panel. Maybe it's really a series of, it's a 2-part question. So, you know, what is your favorite UT tradition and do you have a favorite spot on campus? Devika, would you like to kick this round off?
Sure. So my favorite UT tradition, and I know this is really basic, but I really liked Gone to Texas. I thought it was a really nice way because, you know, when you're walking around campus, like on a daily basis, you don't know who's in what major. You don't know every single person there. You know, there's thousands of people there. But when you go to Gone to Texas, you know, they've got like Gone to Liberal Arts, they've got Gone to Engineering, they've got like different things. So you can actually meet people in your major. You can establish those connections. And there's been so many times I've had conversations like, oh, you're in that class, I'm in that class too. What have you heard about it, you know? And you actually end up either finding something out or you end up with a friend, like you just can't go wrong. And then one of my favorite spots on campus is actually, it's going to be in the Student Activity Center. It's, you know, right where that Starbucks is in there. If you go up the stairs to, if you're looking at the Starbucks, it's to the right, you'll see like this like ledge of like, there's just a bunch of like cushions and pillows and stuff. And personally, I just go there to take naps sometimes. You know, you'll see people passed out there all the time. And, you know, that's a spot like, that's what it's for. Or you'll see people like plugged into the wall and working. It's a really good spot for being like central to campus. So, you know, it'll sometimes be like, I only have 45 minutes before this class and the next class. Where am I going to go? So I just go and just relax over there. And of course, Starbucks is right downstairs too. So, yeah.
All right. Cameron?
As far as tradition goes, like I've always been a big fan of the football games, but I personally would not advise you to purchase tickets or go to a football game, probably against the wishes of whoever keeps sending those big ticket emails. But I'd say, especially in this time, many of your traditions, the ones you make for yourself, like it's the people you hang out with, it's the fun things you do with them. Like I know I would do picnics with some of my friends. Like we would I had a friend that I would meet and like go read in front of a tree in the honors quad. Like there's like a lot of nice things that you can do that are not necessarily UT traditions, but you can make your own. And then as far as study spots, so I have three, and they're all in RLP, Robert L. Patton Hall, also known as CLA. It's the liberal arts, like brand new building, is really, really nice. So there's three spots you can go to. One is actually I have four. One is the Dye Center, which is on the entry floor. If you go on the entry floor and like walk back towards the stadium, there's a big open study room just for liberal arts students. You have to scan in with your ID. Only liberal arts students are allowed in. It's a great cooperative space. People there are lovely. Then also on the fourth floor, there's a sky bridge, and the sky bridge is a really nice place to go study whenever it's open. So you can go like look out, and you're like between the SAC, the Student Activity Center, and the RLP hall, and that's a really nice spot. Also, if you go to this one's a bit more secret that nobody knows about. If you go to the top, huh?
Are you sure that you want to share it with everybody?
No, I'm willing to share the love because I probably won't be on campus much this semester. So this one's a bit secret, but if you go to the very top floor of RLP where the ROTC classes are and the ROTC offices, if you hang a left and sort of go down between the Air Force and the Navy ROTC, there is a balcony in RLP that's open between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's a really nice study spot whenever the weather gets good. And you can look out and look over the stadium and like the Butler School of Music. It is a nice open balcony. It's very peaceful. And lastly, if it's in the evening, go down to the basement. There are always open like little conference rooms that are very nice to study and that nobody knows about. So those are all my study spots in RLP.
All right. Kylie?
As far as traditions go, I'm not entirely sure if these are traditions, but I quite like them. I've always been fond of the little hand gesture of the hook'em horns. It's really fun. I love it. I love that there's an emoji for it. It's a fun time. And I also love whenever the tower starts making music, whether it's playing like an Elvis Presley song for some reason or one of our school songs. I really love that. And I also loved figuring out how to tell time with it when I was on campus. That was a great time. As for my favorite spot, so I have two, and one of them is another secret, although it's kind of a not so secret. So the first one is the Turtle Pond. I really love going and sitting there because it's a great place to be on campus, but in nature. And the turtles are great. Sometimes they'll swim right up to you, especially if you have carrots, pro tip. And the second place is the third floor of the Student Activity Center. It's now called the WCP, the William Powers Center. I've been calling it WISP. I don't know if that'll catch on, probably not. But the third floor of that building, there is a beautiful terrace and an art installation that is a fantastic place for naps. But if you're not going to nap, there's also little tables and outlets for you to study.
All right. Well, thank you all for sharing your favorite traditions and places to study or nap. And thank you so much again for sharing your time with us today and offering your insight. And for all of you watching, I wish you all the best as we head into the new academic year. Stay safe and hook 'em.
Thank you, guys.